Hey guys, Dave Norona, and we're at the Edmonton Sled Show. Believe it or not, it's done. So we want to thank everybody for showing up. But I got Mel on the camera helping me today. Somebody wanted me to do kind of a walkthrough with the Gen 5. Some people haven't seen the videos when we released it and talked about the parts. So we're going to go over the sled. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are on the sled. And I know you're all excited, and you should be very excited. Because first and foremost, the new Turbo R is amazing. 180 horsepower. When we were riding this, when you're going up a hill and it's pulling a wheelie, it's almost like you think, I have to let off on the throttle. That's how much power comes out of this machine now. And it's a significant bump up from 20 and a half, 21 and 22 turbos, but it's still really manageable. So you still get great down low grunt all the way through. It's super linear, super smooth. Absolutely love it. Now, let's talk a little bit about the free ride, the Edge, the free ride, the Summit X, and the Summit X with Expert package. Out of all those 4 sleds, 3 of them, the first 3 we talked about, the Edge, free ride, and Summit X, have T-motion and a flex edge track. Only the Expert X right here has a full rigid skid and no flex edge track, all right? And they also have the DS4 skis, which is a little bit different, designed for better bite side hilling, all right? So those of you who love tree riding and side hilling everywhere, this is gonna be more of a weapon than, say, the X and the free ride and the Edge. But the sled I'm going to ride is a Summit X and a free ride because I absolutely love T-motion. I'm a smaller guy, lighter. When I get down into a drainage and I've got to crank the sled over and out, the T-motion gives me the help I need to initiate that turn up on edge, and then I can hold a really steep edge on a T-motion sled. There's no wrong or right. It's really where you want to be, and these sleds are much like this. It's where T-motion flex edge or rigid and non-flex edge. So with that said, we're going to go through the X and show you some of the really cool things about it. So again, DS4 skis, we talked a little bit about that. It was designed, purpose-built for this sled to give you better side hilling capabilities. And let's talk about up front here. We've got our glove box. So that's right, this is back now. So if you ordered your Summit X Expert or any sled with the large screen, you're going to get the heated bag for your phone, and it has a plug-in for the USB as the sled comes in the glove box. If you didn't and you ordered the regular gauge, you will not have this bag and you will not have a USB, but you could add those as optional accessories if you want. This provides great ample storage for cell phone, a few little things that you need, a toque, and that's really what it's meant for. It's not meant to hold a ton of stuff, but it works really well. There is a glove box extension that's quite a bit bigger and holds, I think we had 6 Gatorade bottles in there. So I prefer the regular size, but if you're really after more space up front, that's available as an option. We'll talk a little bit about the gauge here. So people love or hate this gauge. This gauge is gonna be awesome. The reason why we chose to make this gauge work with your phone is because we have a ton of riders in the East that use trails, and clubs would not help us with their mapping if we couldn't instantly change that mapping. So if you have a road going here and a farmer says, we don't want sledders on this road right now for this month, we can put that into your phone and it instantly shows you that you cannot ride on this road. We don't have people saying, oh, it wasn't updated in my, it is updated, so you have that information. So right now, this gauge does that. It works off your phone. Your phone works without cell service because once you load the maps that are loaded in there, it will follow you and show where you are on the map. This gauge will improve. We're pushing the Skidoo engineers to improve it, and it will improve. Right now, I absolutely love this gauge. On the damage, everybody thinks it's going to break. This thing is solid. I think what you'd have to do is drop it on its nose on a rock to do any damage to it. So not that you can't damage it, but I think you more have to try to damage it. We've had them at CKMP. People have rolled the sleds, pushed the sleds, done everything to the sleds, and the gauges are the screens in perfect shape. For those of you who just want the small one, simple, I get it. It's covered in snow. Keep it simple, baby, and enjoy it. As we move on this side of the door, this panel now has a two rubber pieces, and then it comes off here and basically clamshells out and pops out there. And now you're exposed to your suitcase right here. So you still can do a panini press. We're still working on who's going to make a cooker can that will fit in here. And really simply to easy access and get here. Here's your shot. Chain case is the same. And then while we're over here right now, we're going to talk boards, okay? So a lot less material in the boards. Again, this machine it's narrower by 3 inches, so 1.5 inches on each side. So that is one of the highlights of this. So where you notice it, and me with boots on, is having your foot right on the outside rail provides the perfect, it's so nice and nimble, and that's one of the things that the G5 does. I think it's my favorite thing, is it feels like you have so much control just from your legs, let alone when you add that into your arms as well to move the sled how you want, whether it's through trees, up and down drainages, all that. And one of the coolest things is now when you're looking down at the sled, you're looking right down on the spindles. So it not only gives you that visual betterment of experience, but it allows you to see what you're doing, and so you're going to do it better. All right, if we come around the other side, LED headlights here. Again, it's a love or hate look. I think people like anything, any good album you love, you didn't like it first time you listen to it, and that's a sign of a good album. The one you love, like that Britney Spears album that you all have in the back of your CD in your truck, you don't like that as much anymore because you liked it the first time out. So this is the kind of the same thing that we're talking about. Your low beam is one headlight, high beam is both of them, and they're super bright and they work really well. Let's talk about one thing before we move over to that clutch slide is an accessory light. For those of you who still don't know, underneath the left console of your steering, you have a plug so that you can plug and play up to two accessories. And that would be one accessory here is this this light that adds huge light if you're rather on the trail or doing some night riding, and it can fold down out of the way when you're not using it, pop it up like that, super easy. So that's one of your accessories that you can do. Again, this is an accessory option if you want to add it, but it's one I think a lot of people will. When you come around this side, you're just going to fill your sled with oil for the day. That can easily be done by one snap, door slides open, slides off, and there's your access to your oil to fill it up. If you want to check your clutch for the day or you want to clean it at home or whatever, it's 1, 2, 3 rubber straps and 1 step-up strap here, and then it's basically you lift this off right, sorry, stuck on this dot here, and it slides off like that. So now on the door we have the integrated CVT cover and the door at the same time. People wonder if this is tough. Pretty tough. So the idea is people were worried that this was going to push into your primary like a regular door, which can do. This won't do it because it's strong. Plus when you push this against the wall inside of the clutch area, it cuts it off from engine heat coming in and makes its own little area. So now you get cold air drawn in, worked around by the fins on both sides of the secondary, and exit out the left door. So this keeps way cooler, way better performance for the clutching. And the highlight of that is, one of the things I love about it is, remember how hard it is to get into here cleaning your primary? Now it's super easy to get in there and keep these clean. If you keep your belt clean and your clutches clean, it's gonna run better, smoother when you're out for the ride. Really cool. Same brake. The Expert has the low seat. Expert X has the low seat, which I absolutely love. Lower than the previous 47 seat. So this is something that people will absolutely love. Another thing that we've added right here is the new adjustable brake. So look at that, I got small hands, but one finger, super easy, and it's adjustable for where you want to find it. So that's another awesome addition you're actually going to get this on the free ride and the Summit X as well. Moving here, another question, if you ordered the big gauge, you need a battery. So when you shut off your sled, this continues running for up to 10 minutes. You can shut your sled back on and then it'll start over again. So you need a battery, and where that is housed is right back here. So there's a little tiny battery encased in foam here to give it for the spatial that's in there, and that is where your spare belt is gonna live. All right, and this slides in here, comes down here, and is attached with these 2 bolts. So it's hidden out of the way. If you have the regular gauge, you don't have this battery. You have a smaller cover that then has the belt fitted in there. So you can either keep it there or move it into your tunnel bag. Of course, right now here we got the deep snow tunnel bag. My favorite tunnel bag, 26 liters of space, allows you to have your shovel here, and just works super awesome. Now, coming back around here, we'll first talk about the limiter strap. Really, really awesome to have on a 154 because you can have it laid out with your limiter strap out, so you got a wheeling machine. It's super fun and playful. But if you really want to get into a hard area that you're not making time after time, tighten that limiter strap up, and this thing is going to have the skis more planted, and you're going to get up where you want to go into the next zone, set it back loose again, and wild away, as they say. So the biggest difference, as I said before, is it's now no T-motion. So a full rigid skid, and as you can see on this track, the rod goes right to the end. On the flex edge track, the rod is cut here, so that's a little softer. We're gonna give you a second here while it depends how long she goes on about. The other thing,
we will be starting move out and opening the doors in 15 minutes. And if you'd like to join us for pizza, we have some
free pizza and beer. Okay, let's make this quick. So the other thing, if we come in on the lugs here, is they actually don't bevel in now, they come straight, so you're gonna get more traction out of that. We've added more material, so it's stronger. Overall, this new track is more durable, and I think people are really gonna love it. And rigid skid, and say fully rotted rigid track. And that changes when we go to the Summit X. You get the flex edge track, so the rod only goes to here, and you have T-motion in it. Same with the free ride and also the Summit Edge. Another difference change, more for people that do track changes, is now instead of taking out the bolts here and having to drill to get the bolt out, remove this. This axle comes out and it makes it, and then you don't actually have to take the chain case apart. You do have to still take the brake off, remove the driver, and you can do a track change. So Carl Kuster can do it in about 50 minutes. Jason Ribby can do it in 20 minutes. And we're still trying to see who's going to hold the world record. But that's a little bit about the Summit X with Expert package. I hope we covered everything in it. If we don't, put it in the comments below. A couple of things I would suggest to add to this sled: a skid plate. I use toe holds, which I think are really important, especially for down carving and turning back up. An accessory snow flap for those days when the trail's really hard to get up into the backcountry. A bag, a fuel can, and then just ride, oil and gas, and have fun. I guess you guys are going to have a great winter. I hope you do. Hang on, when these sleds arrive, you're going to be super happy. So we'll see you out on the snow.